Welcome everybody to the Code with Jason meetup. This time we're going to continue what we were working on last time, which is a Vim plugin that, what's the word? Interacts. Integrates. Integrates with the OpenAI plugin, because we're creating my dream AI workflow, or at least headed in that direction. We'll see how far it gets. I think that right now we're at a point, it's kind of like when the internet first, when the web was first introduced in the mid 90s. It's like, just by virtue of the fact that the web existed, there's like this instant vacuum of all these things that should exist that didn't exist yet. It's like, okay, if every computer in the world is networked, you should be able to, for example, buy and sell things on the internet, but nobody had built that yet. It's just like an obvious ability waiting to exist. And I think right now, with where AI technology is, the AI technology is like there in certain senses, and therefore there are all these things that are just waiting to exist that don't. An example that I tweeted about yesterday is like, let's say you're working and you get some error message. There could be a tool where you just hit a key command and it looks at your screen, like it takes a screenshot of your screen or something like that, and then reads your screen and uses AI to figure out what might be wrong, and then it tells you what to do. Like, we have all the pieces for that. Like, you can use OCR to read the words on your screen. You can use GPT you could send those words to the OpenAI API, and then it could send you back some solutions or diagnostic questions or something like that. Like, all the pieces are there, just nobody has connected all the pieces yet. So I'm trying to connect some of these pieces right now. Having said that, here's what we'll do. I'll show you what I have so far. Then I'll show you my plans for the next few steps. Then we can work on those next few steps. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, here's what I have so far. My Vim plugin can do this. I can say, for fun, I'm gonna ask for a volunteer. Sanjit, if you could, we're gonna ask ChatGPT to write us a little program. What should I have it write?
Random number generator.
Okay, what language?
Ruby.
Okay, natural choice. Write me a random number generator in Ruby. I expect this will just be a call to rand. Let's see.
Yeah.
It sometimes is faster than others. Here we go. All right, there we go. So this is what I have so far. This plugin can okay, let's do another one just for fun. Or give me a prompt I can type in what kind of program we want to generate.
Maybe a command line calculator.
Okay. Okay, there we go. All right, so obviously you guys get the idea. My ultimate vision is that, I'm going to clear this so it doesn't distract me. My ultimate vision is that I can do this. Okay, so I'm going to say, write me a test that, well, I'm just going to say, write me an RSpec test. It's interesting how sometimes it's quite slow. But anyway, my vision is that I can say, write me a test, and then it gives me the test. And also at the same instant that it puts the test in here, it runs the test. And let's even do this. Here, I'll just demonstrate rather than trying to explain it. Okay, so we have this test. So it gave me this test. Now I'm going to run it. Oh, well, I can't run it because we don't have RSpec installed in this project, whatever. But even so, it gives me a test file and then it automatically runs it. And then let's say we get this error. This error would get automatically sent to the API. And then based on that error, well, let's even do that. Okay, so I'm going to go to ChatGPT. Okay, so we said we're going to do this. Write me an RSpec test. So I'm starting over with my example. I'm going to call it calculator spec.rb. Okay. So let's pretend that I typed that into the Vim prompt here. We got calculator spec, and then I want it to automatically run that test. Okay, and we get this error. And so what I would want is for this error to automatically get sent to the API, which is equivalent to me pasting it in here like this. Okay, and it's telling me I need to create a gem file. But instead of me just reading this stuff and copy pasting this, what I would want is for it to say something like, I'd get a prompt back and it would say, you need to create this gem file. Do you want me to create it for you? And I'd say, yeah, sure. And so it would open up a new Vim tab and save this file for me. And then it would automatically run this test again. We get a new error. It would read that error and we just continue like that. So it would be like ChatGPT is in the driver's seat and I'm kind of, well, I'm in the driver's seat really, but it's like, it's doing its work. I'm calling the shots, but I'm just doing the minimum possible. I'm only doing the things that I uniquely can do as a human, and it's doing everything else. And the everything else, I think, is a lot. Anyway, that's the vision. And now let's talk about where exactly we are in the implementation. And I'll talk a little bit about what I don't like about it and what I want to do next. So it's this single file. It's not huge, but it's takes up more than one screen. And we're kind of getting to the point where it's getting too big just to be a spike. You know, this was just an experiment for a bit to prove the concept, but we're kind of going beyond the proof of concept stage now. It's like, I want this now to graduate from just a scratch project to a real project. And so that means things like version control and tests and that kind of stuff. So here's the first thing I don't like. If you look down at the bottom, you can see where this file is located. It's just located in the NeoVim plugins directory. That doesn't seem like an appropriate place to put this. I want like a project directory somewhere on my file system. And again, I want it under version control. And here's my list of to-dos. So put it under version control, put it on GitHub, add some tests, and refactor it into a nice structure. So I think that's what we're going to work on today. This is kind of the boring nuts and bolts stuff, but got to do these things. We'll see how far we get. Any questions or comments before I continue? Okay. So here's a problem. I want to put this under version control, but I don't know how. Because if I put this project just in some directory on my file system, it wouldn't be in the NeoVim plugins folder anymore. And so it wouldn't work. So I don't know how to reconcile that. So naturally, I asked ChatGPT about that. So here's what I said. I said basically what I just said. Doesn't seem like an appropriate place to put it in that folder there. ChatGPT says, you're right. Okay, so I create a separate project directory. Okay. And then I move the code and I create a symlink. Okay. It's not too surprising that it would suggest that. So let's do that. Okay. I'm going to create a new directory. I don't know what to call this plugin. I'll just call it GPT plugin. Okay. How do you CD into a folder you just created? No, that's not it. That's not it either. I don't remember. Okay, I'm just going to copy this.
It's too late to do it now, but I usually do CD bang $.
Bang $. Oh, okay. Thanks
So
for
that's
that.
the last argument of the previous command.
Oh, okay. I'll do that next time, I suppose. Okay, so now I'm going to move my plugin from here to here. Okay. Initial commit. Okay. Well, I can check this off. Put on GitHub. All right, I'll do that. Actually, I don't want to do that next because I want to do this other step next. I suspect that if I do this, write me a test. Yeah, see, it doesn't work anymore because it's not in the right place. So we have to create that symlink. Okay. And I don't like this file name. I'm going to change it from GPT NeoVim to GPT plugin.py. Okay. Okay. Now let's see if it works. I don't know if it will or not. Still doesn't work. Yeah, I think it has something to do with the fact that I changed the file name. Okay. Let me look in my config file. Okay, well, I'll have ChatGPT help me with this. Okay, I renamed my file to GPT plugin.py. Now I get this. Oh, update remote plugins. I think that's the step that I needed to do. I don't know if that's going to work or not. So let's see. Okay, I get a different error now. So I'm going to say that. Whoops. Oh, why did I type get? That's funny. Okay. This is not copyable for some reason. But I'm going to tell ChatGPT now when I type GPT, it says not an editor command. And actually, before I do that, I'm going to take a quick look at my test file. And see if there's any reference to the old name. I don't see anything. Okay, yeah, I am going to ask this to ChatGPT. Okay, I already did update remote plugins. Okay. I'm gonna do some of that stuff, but first, this is distracting me that this is like this, so I'm gonna commit this. Okay, I'm gonna verify that my symlink is working. So I'm gonna do this. Okay, we do see GPT plugin.py there. I'm gonna do this.
And observation.
Yeah.
I think when you were searching through your history, your LN didn't have the code directory in it
Okay.
because you're in tilde code.
Oh, interesting. Okay, let's test something real quick. Okay. I'm just gonna, well, I'll do this. That seems right, right? No, I need documents. Now I think that seems right. And then if I run that cat again, now it's there. Okay. Thanks for that. Okay, now we'll do update, blah, 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 update remote plugins. Now in this list, I see the GPT plugin. So that's encouraging. I don't know if I'm going to need to restart Vim or not. Let's see. Okay, let's try restarting. Okay, it seems like it's working. Okay, there we go. Okay, wonderful. All right, let's put this in the git ignore. Okay. So now I want to put it on GitHub. I'll go to never remember how to create a new there we go. Okay, GPT plugin. Okay. We'll make it public, why not? Okay. Now in here we can do something kind of interesting. Oh, whoops. Just to see what happens. I'm going to say, write me a GitHub README for my plugin. I'm giving it the code so it knows what it does. Let's see if it gives me anything that's any good. It's actually not bad. Okay, but that's not easily copy pastable. Oh, wait, maybe it is. Maybe I could just do this. Okay, so I'm going to go to readme.md. Add readme. Okay, and here's our ChatGPT generated readme. I don't think it's perfect, but for the 5 seconds of work it took me, it's good enough. Okay. We can check off that one. Add some tests. I think this might be a little more challenging. We'll see how that goes. Okay. How can I... Oh, you know what? I came up with what I think are some pretty good prompts. I'm going to use these formats. I've been using these a lot lately. Here's one that I've been using. And this is kind of becoming my default mode of operation. Interactive task accomplishment. So I want you to help me achieve a task. You should ask me questions about my task. And each time I respond, you should ask me more questions if appropriate. Every single question should be numbered. The task is, I'm going to copy paste this. I want to add tests to my plugin. Okay. I like this way better than when ChatGPT just gives me whatever it thinks I should get with all the assumptions it's going to make. What programming language? Python, of course, because that's what plugin's written in. Whatever people normally use for NeoVim plugins. No tests, specific components, blah, 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 no. Yes to TDD. How do you plan on handling dependencies? Maybe stubbing? Are you planning to use any tools for continuous integration? I don't know. Do you have any deadlines? No. Would you like to be all right, so can't read those. Would you like the tests to be part of your plugin's public documentation? Do you plan to write? Okay, so 9, I'll say yes, and 10, I'll say I don't know. Okay. In the case of blah, 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 For some reason, I feel like I want to pick PyTest. So we'll say that. And stubbing, a library, maybe, but I'm going to say, how about first, let's start by trying dependency injection. That way we don't have such a need for mocking and stubbing. Since you want to include testing, blah, 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 specific format or library. No libraries yet, please. CI, no. I'll say not now. 5, I'll just say I don't know. Interesting question. 6, would you like to write your tests independently, or would you be interested in pair programming or receiving regular code reviews? From who? From ChatGPT? I assume that's what it means. I'll say I am interested in pair programming and or code reviews. Do you have any particular parts? I'll just say I don't know. See what it comes up with now. Okay. It's taking this question and answer thing farther than I actually expected it to, which is good. For that first one, I'm going to say, shouldn't we use a package manager? Which function? I'm going to say, I don't know. Let's start with whatever's easiest. For that function, okay, I'm going to break out of this because I think we're getting ahead of ourselves. So I'm going to say for PyTest, shouldn't we use a package manager? I'm not familiar. Yeah, I have very little background in Python, by the way. I guess let's pick pipenv. Okay. And I'm using Python 3, so I think I should actually be using pip3. Bad interpreter. Okay, hang on. Oh, that's not what I wanted. 311. Okay. Maybe I want this instead. Oh, okay. But I still got a pip file. Okay. Yeah, well, I'm just going to ignore that error for the moment. Okay, pipenv install pytest. Okay, I'll do that. Okay, I'm going to tell it about this. I'm going to say I keep getting this. Okay, I guess I'll do this. Nothing. I'm going to do this instead. Python version. I'm going to tell it that I have this version. What do I need to do? Okay, apparently I need to uninstall the current version of pipenv. Okay. And reinstall pipenv. Okay, and then I check the version apparently. Okay. Oh, it also wants which Python 3, so I guess I'll do that. Okay, I uninstalled and reinstalled. And I get this. Okay. So I'm going to try these suggestions. I'm going to uninstall pipenv again. Okay, and we do this step a little bit differently, looks like. And we do pipenv version. All right. We still get that. All right. If the problem persists, we'll need to adjust the path in the pipenv script. Problem persists. But the thing is, I don't necessarily want to use Python 3.9. I feel like I should tell it that. I don't want to use Python 3.9. I want 3.11. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I thought it didn't understand, but I guess it does understand. It was I who didn't understand. Okay, so here, let's follow these steps. Open the pipenv script with a text editor. Okay. Look for the first line, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Oh, I see. Interesting. Replace it with the output of which Python 3. Okay, which in my case, it's that. Okay. Wow, ChatGPT is so smart. I mean, let me say that tentatively because I don't know if this is actually going to work, but let's see. Works? Wonderful. Okay, so I don't even remember what I was trying to do. Let's scroll up and jog my memory. Ah, yes. Okay, so I think we already did the install PyTest part. Let me look at our pip file. Okay, I see PyTest there. Okay. I don't know what that is, but I think maybe there's supposed to be Python 3. Oh. Okay. Don't know what that is. Okay. Well, let's tell ChatGPT about this. Okay. I've heard about people having all kinds of Python environment troubles. Maybe I should have done this all inside of Docker or something. Okay, well, I guess I'll follow its instructions. Okay, warning, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'll just continue following the instructions. Okay. Okay. Seems to have worked. Okay. Now I'm going to commit this stuff. Add pip file. But let's take a step back a second and think about this. We just set up this Python environment. I've never done this before, and that was relatively painless. Even though we ran into some troubles, I didn't have to like sit there and think like, oh, what am I going to do? I just kind of blindly followed ChatGPT's instructions and we got past all the problems. So that is actually great. Okay. So now we have that going and I want to actually write some tests. So I'm going to do my interactive task accomplishment prompt again. I want to write some tests for the following plugin, and I'll copy paste my code because I think it's lost the context at this point. BB copy. Let's see what it says about that. Okay. And it seems like this is maybe a case where I have to exercise some of my own thought. So let's see. How can we write some kind of test? What would make sense? I have no idea. Because we have some pretty big dependencies. We're depending on the OpenAI API, and we're depending on Vim itself. Oh, here's something we can write a test for, though. We can write a test for the parsing of the response. So let's do that. Okay, I'm just going to say this. I want to write a test for the parsing of the OpenAI, of the API response. Let's split the plugin code into multiple methods so we can test the parsing code in isolation without having to worry about the API dependency. We can just use a hard-coded API response. Let's see what it does with that. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is I'll modify my code according to this. And then I'm just going to manually probably need to update. I'm going to test this manually. Because I'd hate to go to all the trouble of writing a test for this and then discover that it doesn't even still work. Okay, so that does still work. Okay, we can write a test for it. Do you have a specific test case in mind? I'll just say that sounds good. Interesting. This doesn't seem right. Because is this calling the API? It doesn't seem like what I want. I'm going to say so. I don't want to actually call the API. I just want to use hard-coded values that are representative of the kinds of responses I would get from the API. Okay. So it wants me to adjust parse response. What's the difference exactly? All I see is the strip. Oh, and this. I don't understand, but okay. I guess I'll use this version. This still seems wrong. The only thing that's relevant is the part inside of content. And say, no, this still seems wrong. The only part that's relevant is the part inside of content. This seems closer. I'm just going to manually edit this. Okay, so I'm going to create a file called tests.py. Okay, and here's what I want. Response equals, I'm going to say, here is some code. Okay. And then here's one without any code. There is no code block present. Okay, now I'm going to run this. Whoops. Okay, it says no tests ran. So let's figure out how to actually, maybe I have to specify the file name. There we go. Okay, so now all I'm going to do is copy paste this entire chunk and feed it back to ChatGPT. Okay, looks like I need to import this. And I'll rerun my tests. And now I get this. Well, yeah, I'm not sure what to do about that. So I'll tell ChatGPT about this. Let's see what it says. Okay. I guess I'll install OpenAPI or OpenAI. And we'll go just a few minutes longer and then we'll wrap up. Okay, no module named this. I don't remember ever involving something called that. Apparently so, though. All right, well, I know what to do now. Pip inv install this. Run the tests again. Okay. I don't understand what I'm seeing. To passed? That seems surprising. Okay, so sometimes when I get a surprising success like this, I'll make it fail on purpose just to be sure that I'm not seeing a false positive. So I'm going to comment this and I'll say return boo. Okay, apparently it was actually working. I am surprised. I'm going to kill some of these comments. Okay, run the tests again. Whoops. Looks like we're good. But now I want to manually test it to make sure I didn't break anything. Okay, good thing we did that manual test because it does not work. Okay, so I'm going to say my tests pass, but now when I use my plugin in Vim, I get this. I'm also going to share my current code. Here is my plugin code. Okay. Parse response. Let's look for that. Okay, now it works. Let's see if the tests still pass. And they do. I see we're getting I see we're getting a warning, and I think I want to address that, but maybe not right at the moment. We'll commit this. What did we do? We got the tests passing. Okay. So if you guys want to take a look at this, I'll share the link in the chat. I'm going to stop sharing my screen too. Looking for the chat. Here it is. Okay. So just for the last couple minutes, let's open it up for a little free discussion. Couple comments. One is, you can maybe imagine how a lot of that stuff I was doing manually just now could be automated. Like, it was kind of annoying how I had to copy code, paste it into ChatGPT, take the response and paste it back. It's like, why isn't that all just automated? So that's part of what I want this plugin to be. Basically, this plugin I'm writing is an attempt to do all the stuff I'm manually doing to write the plugin and automate it. So eventually I can use the plugin to write the plugin. Anyway, any comments, thoughts, questions, anything from you guys? Are you guys using ChatGPT in your day-to-day work right now?
So I'm not using ChatGPT, but I'm using the GitHub Copilot, which integrates with NeoVim in a really nice way. So TPOP actually has a plugin for it. So, you know, it's a high
Yeah,
quality.
I've tried that. Yeah.
I was gonna say, it kind of seems like really what's missing is ChatGPT should kind of know more about your system. Like,
Exactly.
a lot of the time you're just copying, like, here's this file, here's like, yeah, the which Python, and surely like it should be able to run these commands and like figure that out for itself and not have to ask you anything.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, and that's kind of my part of my vision for this whole tool is, like, it can, instead of asking you to run a command and then give you the output, it just runs that on your behalf. There do seem to be maybe like security concerns along with that, because it seems dangerous just to allow it to run anything at all. But maybe the solution is that we run this whole thing in some kind of a firewall, or in some kind of virtual environment where it can't like do anything malicious to your machine. I don't know about that. First step is just to kind of get it working any old way, and then make it more ideal. How about you, Sanjit? Are you using ChatGPT in your day-to-day work?
No, not really. But you know what? I have heard other people use GitHub Copilot as opposed to OpenAI. You know, so I'm not using either actively right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't use Copilot. I've tried it out, but I don't use it because I found that that's not where I need the most help. Where I need the most help is stuff like, you know, setting up my Python environment like I just did, that kind of stuff. Right. And, you know, my workflow is more of a TDD workflow. So I want to use ChatGPT to write my tests and then maybe write the code to make it pass. But it's a different workflow, I think, than most people who use GitHub Copilot.
So Ori, would you agree that GitHub Copilot is more writing the code, that phase? Okay.
Definitely. It doesn't do any of the planning or the thinking. That's
Yeah.
all still kind of I have to
Mm.
do that. But a lot of the times I'll be writing a test and I just write the name of the test and it fills in the next 5 lines for me.
Okay.
And multiply that by, you write 10 tests every day. It saves a lot of time, but it
Mm.
doesn't save on thinking, I would say,
Of course.
which is
Oh,
what.
maybe, yeah. So yeah, I think, in a few months, maybe I should mix and match both, for a
Yeah.
bit of
Yeah.
best of both. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, well, I think that's all I got for today. And I think we'll continue working on this plugin over the next few sessions, as long as people continue to be interested, assuming people are interested now. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me once again, and I will see you next time.
Yep. See you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye,
Bye.
guys.